friends to my YouTube channel. In the previous class I discussed the first part of the poem Keats' Ballad, La Belle sans Merci. Today I will take up the second part. Now, as I have already told, the poem consists of two parts. The first part is a puzzle query to the knight, and the second part, the knight's answer to the stranger's question. Now, the knight tells the stranger about his experience, and his narration of his experience has three parts. The first part is the meeting with the lady and the perfect joy in company of that fairy child. Then a dream, a nightmarish dream that the knight experiences, and finally the awakening. So in the second part we have three subparts. Now stanza 4, the knight goes on to relate the story of his life. The story, the lady who is the cause of his present sorrow. I met a lady in the meads, full beautiful, a fairest child. The knight met a beautiful lady in the meads, in the meadows, in the uncultivated grassy land. So from the very line we can understand that it is a rural setting. The lovers are in a countryside, and he meets the lady in a open land. Full beautiful. The lady was very beautiful, a fairest child. A fairy, a magical creature, a heavenly creature with magical powers. So that indicates the innocence of the lady. She is a fairest child, and also connotes her supernatural association. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and eyes were wide. So in these two lines, the poet describes the lady that she has long hair, her foot was very light, and her eyes were wide. Her wide means passionate. Her eyes expressed a kind of passion raging in her mind. Now, after the knight meets with the lady, he is captivated by her charms, and he makes some advances. How? I made a garland for her head. He makes a garland, he collects flowers from the surrounding areas and wreaths a garland and makes a wreath and puts it on the head of the fairy child. And bracelets, he also makes a bracelets by the flowers. And fragrant June, he also made a special area for the lady, and he made the area fragrant with the smell of the beautiful flowers. So this also indicates the rural setting of the poem. She looked at me as she did love. Now what was the reaction of the knight's gesture? The lady also looked at the knight, and in her look, the knight noticed a message, a kind of love that was raging in the mind of the lady, and made sweet moon. She started to moon, and the moon appeared very sweet to the knight. Now there is sweet moon is oxymoronic. The lady is mooning, and this, how can it be sweet? Yes, that is the charm of the poem. Actually, the lady was mooning because she was in love, and the mooning comes out of her sense of anxiety, her sense of fear that she may lose her love, and that moon was also sweet to the night. So made a sweet moon, and it is also a way to captivate a man. And the fairy woman has a magical power, a great intellectual power to enslave a man. So she was mourning, but at the same time, it was a way to charm him, a way to captivate a knight. So made a sweet moon. I see you on my pacing. I set her on my pacing state. Then the knight responds again by taking her up on her horse, and nothing else saw all day long. He was enjoying a ride with the beautiful lady, and she was so engrossed in the lady that he could not see anything outside. He was so absorbed in the lady that nothing came in his mind throughout the day. And for sidelong would she bend while riding on the horse. Sometimes the lady will bend and throw a sidelong glance, and sometimes sing a fairy song. So the knight was so much lost in enjoying the sidelong glance of the beautiful lady and the song of that fairy child that he could not see anything throughout the day. Now come to the stanza 7. She found me roots of relish sweet, honey wild and manna dew. So the lady is now in the woods. In the woods she finds roots of relish sweet. She finds for him a food, the roots that was sweet to enjoy, and honey wild. She also provides her with honey that was wild in nature, and manna dew. Manna, actually, it is a reference to the biblical story of the Moses. When Moses was starving with his company on the desert, a kind of food fell from the heaven, and that food is called manna. And in this context, it is very appropriate and befitting because it tells about a heavenly atmosphere the lady has created and the bliss that the knight is enjoying. Look at the phrase, relish sweet, honey wild, and language strange. The adjective is placed after the noun. So this disorder or the breaking the normal rules of grammar indicates a kind of strangeness, a kind of exotic beauty the knight and the lady was engrossed in. It is a world, a heavenly world, a perfect world, a world that is strange, that is away from our world. And sure in language strange, she said, I loved you too. And in a language strange, the lady expressed her love for the knight. The language strange, the knight could not understand the language, but the lady somehow could manage to convey that she loved him. And the strangeness of communicating also adds a charm to the lady, and it also indicates the quality to enchant a man. And now she took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild eyes with kisses told. And now the lady takes her to a cave, actually elfin grot. Elfin means that is related to an elf or associated with an elf or fairy, and grot is the poetic form of the word goto. Goto means a cave or temporary structure, artificial structure made in a garden. So the lady takes her to an elfin grot, to a shelter, to an artificial place in the garden, and there she wept and sighed also. And in that elfin grot, the lady began to weep and sighed. It may be the sigh of love. The lady was perhaps aware that their present bliss in that heavenly world will not last. So he sighed. And his sigh also expressive of the deep love the lady has, the lady feels as present for the night. And the night was filled with great love when the lady starts to move. And there I sought her wild eyes with kisses full. Now when the lady started to weep and sigh, the knight realized that she was truly in love with him. So he sought her wild eyes, sought her passionate eyes with kisses. And this is the climactic point of the poem, where the lovers are enjoying themselves in the elfin grot, and here is a perfect bliss, a perfect enjoyment. And now, what happens? So, stanza 8 ends the first part of the second part, that the poet meets, or the knight meets the lady and finds fulfillment in the enjoyment of the elfin grot. And now, the lady will lull him to sleep. And there she lulled me asleep, and I dreamed how we died. So the lady had the magical power, and using that magical power, she lulled him to sleep. And the knight had a dream, and in the dream he said, "Oh, betide." The "oh, betide" is an idiom that means I am in trouble. So here the poet, here the knight realizes that he is now in trouble. The latest dream I ever dreamed on the cold hillside. So this is the second part of the second part, the dream. Now what is the content of the dream? I saw pale kings and princes too. In my dream, I saw white kings and princes and warriors whose face were pale, whose face were white, and dead pale were they all. Their condition, their face reflected that they were suffering from pain. They are approaching towards death. And they cried, "Love, Belle, Sans Merci, thee hath in thrall." So those pale kings and the princes and the warriors, they were telling the knight that you are in the power of Love, Belle, Sans Merci. The Love, Belle, Sans Merci has enslaved you. She has made a slave of you, and you will suffer the same fate as we had suffered. So the kings and princes were the victims of the Love, Belle, Merci. The kings and princes, they also enjoyed the elfin grot, but ultimately these kings, these princes are also expelled from the elfin grot. Now what they are saying to the knight? I saw their starved lips in the gloom. So in the darkness, in the half darkness of the dream, I saw their starved lips. And starved lips, actually they are starved for love. They enjoyed the bliss, they enjoyed the honey of the elfin grot, but now they are expelled from that place. But their heart still longs for that bliss, Her heart still starves for the enjoyment of the bliss, but can have that no more. With worried warning gaped wide, their lips were wide open, and they have something to say that was very horrid, that was very fearful for me. And I awoke and found me here. And thereafter, the dream is over. The knight finds himself awakened by the hillside. The charm is over. And now the lady is gone. He is lonely. He is lovelorn. He is now on the real world. And awake, I found me here on the cold hillside. So this is the awakening part. The knight is awakened, and this is why I sojourn here, and that is the cause I am standing by the hillside. This is the cause of my stay by the hillside, alone and palely loitering, though the sage is withered from the lake and no bird sing. So this is the last two lines, the repetition of the first two lines. Actually, this repetition is in keeping with the ballad tradition. In the ballad, usually we find repetition. And for the mechanics of this poem, in these poems, ballad meter is used, and there are some imagery from the medieval times, medieval knight errantry, and we have also the image of the rose and the lily. And this is, as we have told, this poem takes us to the great odes. This poem anticipates the great spring odes, where we will find the theme of conflict between the world of beauty and art and the world of reality. Thank you all.